Ethan, after 18 years, we're eliminating your position, my boss said flatly. Clean out your desk by end of day. My name's Ethan Mercer, 55 years old. And until that Tuesday morning, I was senior systems architect at Titan Global Technologies in Austin, Texas, for nearly 2 decades. I'd been the backbone of the IT department from the dial-up era to the multi-cloud deployments we ran now. 4 CEOs had come and gone while I stayed, training every new hire, recovering every lost file, fixing things quietly during holidays without asking for a promotion or pat on the back. So when Lucas called me into his office with Marissa from HR already seated, I knew before a word left his mouth that the air had shifted weeks ago. I understand completely, I said, nodding once. I walked out without another word. No anger. No pleading. Just quiet acknowledgement. Back at my desk, I watched younger employees glance my way, then quickly back to their screens. Most of them were coders. I'd trained. Good people, but they didn't know the architecture inside out like I did. None of them could navigate the custom security layers I'd built, or the admin credentials buried 3 levels deep. I began packing my personal items. Family photo, ceramic coffee mug my son made in junior high, a small G plant that had somehow survived under fluorescent lights for 18 years. Leia from marketing stopped by, her face tight with concern. Ethan! I just heard! This is insane, you practically built this place. I shrugged. Companies change direction. But without warning. After everything, her voice rose, drawing attention. It's fine, I said quietly. It wasn't fine, but I wasn't going to make a scene. As I was leaving, Lucas stepped out of his office to watch. No goodbye, no handshake, just making sure I left. What none of them seemed to realize was that I had become the most critical person in the building, not because I was flashy, but because I was thorough. Years earlier, during a compliance scandal, I built a secure audit protocol to track unauthorized access. At legal's request, it logged everything. I still had off-site copies. In the parking lot, I sat for a moment, looking up at the 14-story building where I'd spent most of my adult life. My security badge just surrendered had been renewed 17 times. I started the engine and drove home. They had no idea. Thursday would be interesting. I'd joined Titan back when it was just 2 floors in a Dallas business park. My daughter Ava had been in kindergarten then. Now, she was in her final year of medical school. I'd turned down better-paying offers because loyalty mattered to me. My wife Claire used to joke that the servers were my second family. She wasn't wrong. I knew every system, every workaround, every undocumented patch that executives didn't even know existed. The infrastructure I'd built had survived 4 acquisitions and a dozen failed innovation initiatives. Then Lucas arrived 5 years ago. Young MBA type who called our department IT resources instead of people. His buzzwords: streamline, digital transformation, future-proof. I've tried to help him understand the complexity buried in 20 years of adaptation. He smiled past me in meetings. 6 months ago, he brought in a consultant, Jared Fox. Expensive suit, Yale MBA on his LinkedIn header. They huddled behind closed doors whenever I walked by. 3 months ago, I noticed small but deliberate changes to my administrative privileges. I could have protested. Instead, I documented. Claire noticed. You seem distracted lately, she said one evening on the porch. Just changes, I told her. Nothing I haven't seen before. But these changes were different. I was being excluded from upgrade emails. Younger team members were getting projects I would normally lead. Then I stumbled on it. During a routine background scan, I noticed unusual transactions in our ERP system, regular payments to Orion Systems Group. The business address was a mailbox in Phoenix, registered just last year. The payments started small, but grew steadily. I didn't say anything. I noted it, copied the records, and kept watching. Sometimes, the quiet guy in the corner sees everything precisely because everyone thinks he sees nothing. The morning after I was let go, I sat in my home office, coffee in hand, staring at my personal laptop. Claire brought me breakfast without a word. When she left, I unlocked the bottom desk drawer and took out a small encrypted SSD, one of several off-site backups I'd maintained. Years ago, legal had approved the redundancy. They'd forgotten, but I hadn't. I plugged it in and began reviewing. internal emails, meeting minutes, financial records. There it was. Nearly $2 million paid to Orion over 20 months. Approval chain. Direct to CFO Marcus Ellison. Business registry showed Orion's owner, Daniel Ellison, Marcus's younger brother. The scheme was simple inflated invoices for legitimate software renewals, skimming 15 to 20% each time. Enough to avoid triggering audit alerts, enough to accumulate millions. My phone buzzed. A text from Dylan, a junior analyst I'd mentored. Sorry about yesterday. Total BS. Jared's already moving into your old office. The pieces fit. Lucas and Marcus needed me gone before anyone connected the dots. I opened an email draft to Titan's board. Stopped. Too easy to dismiss as a bitter ex-employee. I needed leverage. Tomorrow was Wednesday board meeting day. Perfect timing. Wednesday morning, I parked across the street from Titan HQ at 9:15 a.m. I sent Lucas an anonymous-looking internal email about financial irregularities, summarizing Orion's invoices enough to unsettle him, but omitting the family connection. At 9:45, my phone rang. Lucas! I let it go to voicemail. By 10:30, Marissa from HR emailed, Mr. Mercer, cease all contact with Titan employees. Any further communication will result in legal action. Threats? Fine. At noon, I visited my bank. In my safe deposit box was an older backup, a rigid security protocol showing Marcus himself had expanded his own access. 20 months ago, exact point, Orion payments began. Back home, more missed calls. Even Jared was now reaching out. At 3 p.m., my landline rang. Marcus, we should talk. There's been a misunderstanding. Is that what you call it? We can work this out. Severance. References. I think the board will be interested in Orion's systems and your brother. The sharp inhale on the other end told me everything. Within 10 minutes, Marissa emailed Egan offering to double my severance in exchange for confidentiality. They still thought this was about money! That night, I dug deeper. Orion wasn't Marcus's first trick. 3 years earlier, consulting fees had been paid to Summit Advisory Partners. Ona. Patricia Ellison Marcus's wife. Same shell game. Worse, Lucas had helped keep these vendors off normal procurement channels in exchange for budget bumps in his department. Jared hired specifically to remove me. Over 3 years, they diverted $4.6 million. I compiled a full report spreadsheets, business registrations, incriminating emails, and called Adrian Vega, a board member I'd worked with during a cybersecurity overhaul years ago. We met in Zilka Park. I handed him a sealed envelope and flash drive. I'm not looking for a job or money. I just want the right people to know. Adrian nodded. Emergency Finance Committee meets Friday. I'll bring this. That afternoon, someone knocked on my door. Claire answered. A man named Jared Fox was here looking for you. Desperation was setting in. Friday morning, using still active credentials, sloppy Jared, I queued an email to every board member. Scheduled for 8 a.m. Before approving Q2 bonuses, read this. At 8:17, my phone lit up with calls from unfamiliar numbers. At 9:32, Dylan texted. Police are here. Marcus and Lucas in separate rooms. Jared looked sick. What did you do? I didn't reply. By 10 a.m., Titan's general counsel called. The board is taking this very seriously. Executives have been placed on leave. We'd appreciate your cooperation. I've already given you everything. My part is done. By lunch, local business media reported. Titan Technologies executives under investigation for financial irregularities. Names would come later. At 2 p.m., Adrian called. Marcus confessed blaming Lucas. Jared claims ignorance. We've suspended all three. Forensic accountants estimate $4.8 million diverted. Then the board wants you back. New role! Chief Information Security Officer, reporting directly to us. I told him I'd think about it. Revenge was complete. But did I want to walk back into the place that discarded me? That night, I posted on LinkedIn. Never burn bridges. Let them collapse under their own weight. Monday morning, I walked into Titan's HQ in a suit I hadn't worn in years. In the boardroom, Adrian slid me the offer. I slid back my conditions. Full audit authority across all departments. Independent budget, veto power on tech financial decisions. This is unusual, the interim CEO said. So was embezzling $4.8 million. I replied. They accepted before noon. 6 months later, I sat in my corner office, overlooking downtown Austin. Marcus had pleaded guilty. Lucas was still fighting charges. Jared had fled to Argentina, awaiting extradition. My former team now reported to me. Dylan was promoted to run daily OPSI. Just needed someone to see his potential. Claire appeared in my doorway. Lunch? As we walked through IT conversations, paused not from fear, but respect. They knew I could have destroyed the company. Instead, I'd rebuilt the bridge stronger than before.